Today is Thursday, September the 9th, and you can see that the McClellan oscillator that we follow like a hawk actually didn't really move today. We've got a cross on top of a cross. The advancers versus decliners, however, tell us, my computer is really slow tonight, you're going to find that the advancers and decliners were pretty much the same. But let's look at the charts now. The Dow Jones did fall below its 50, so it's on a rendezvous with the cloud, which is what we would expect. Now the Chiku span finished, if we draw our line right here, the Chiku span finished at the bottom of this candle. There's a good chance now that it's going to go below the candles, and we're going to look for support for the Chiku span on the 50, somewhere around 3,500, or the candle at the top of the cloud. Not much different than that. So this is something that we were talking about. We were talking about the candles being support for the Chiku span, and we've lost that. So now we're looking at support in this area right here, which is where the candle comes down to the cloud and the Chiku span falls below, but it could continue to fall as low as the moving 50. Now the NASDAQ really didn't do very much, so it's not coming anywhere near its 50, so it's got a long way to go if it's going to hit its 50. And the S&P is following the downtrend that we thought that it might. We're looking for candle support somewhere right in here. I'm going to move that up. We're going to say candle support will be right in there, but we're also looking at sometime next week where the 50 and that candle support are going to be the same thing. And we know what we say about coincidences. They always call attention to themselves, and they're real. Apple, which has its big announcement next week, really didn't move very much. It had some good analyst reviews today on a big cycle with the iPhone 13. Abbott took a big drop down. Maybe it's that FCC thing, but we're certainly looking at not much volume compared to the volume with its FDA warning right here. But one analyst said it was overdone. I think it is too. I don't own a lot of ABBV, but I'd like to buy more. I did buy more Caterpillar. I bought it 207.53, but it continued to fall lower to 205.54. We're looking at the stochastics now, which still have a little bit more downplay to go, but I thought the 200 was going to provide support. If we fall below the 200 tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at selling some calls to bring in revenue, and it would probably be next week's 210s or the week after. And if I think the market is going for a big dump, then I might even try to short Caterpillar by taking short calls that are less than the current price. That might be 200 short calls. It might I might take the 205 short calls because I think that I want to keep my stock, but I think the stock is going lower, so I want to collect premium while it's going down. IBM, beautiful, doing the same thing, certainly coming down to its 200. And NIO recovered a little bit from its secondary offering, which caused this gap here. The 200 is going to be the line to break. I'm still holding on to NIO, but my short calls, I really don't have anything to roll my short calls into now. I'm at the October 60s. To roll to the November 60s doesn't really give me that much. I would have to be really pessimistic on NIO to try to get more aggressive and take my short calls maybe down to 50. But again, the premiums just aren't that good. The volatility in NIO isn't that much that it's just not worth selling the further out calls for. And that's a good thing. I mean, the volatility isn't there. It means that the market makers really don't see a lot of fear in the stock. Now, SAVA, on the other hand, a little bit of recovery. Look what's happened to the stochastics right down here. And today, resistance was right there. And where is that? The Chiku span on the 200. How many times do we say the Chiku span is important? its interactions with moving averages 26 periods back, with candles 26 periods back. I've been stressing this over and over again. It's just a baked-in fact. I mean, the Chiku span is probably the most important feature in trading after moving averages. Moving averages, everybody looks at. The Chiku span is not something that many traders look at, but I think that trading algorithms do look after that. Look at it. Now, Square, on the other hand, has fallen further into the cloud, and the Chiku span today got its support where? Right at the bottom there, right where it ended. So a little bit above this 20 moving average. So Square is in a little bit of trouble here. It's a darn good stock. I rolled my short calls from October to 80s. I mean, that's optimistic because I really believe this stock is coming back. I rolled them into November 280s. That's a long time away, and I think that Square is going to go through a little bit of a downturn with the rest of the market. I think the Chiku span is going to come to save it, maybe around the 50, because that's going to coincide with where the candle hitting the bottom of the cloud. So that's what I'm calling. So that's it for today. The markets are still in for some pain. I did say that today there's your markets. There's your advancers and decliners, pretty even. I did say yesterday that I thought the McClellan was going to bounce back, and it did a little tiny bit, but I still think before the end of the week it's going down into the oversold area. So look for a drop tomorrow, because the Dow is going to look for the cloud. The NASDAQ has a lot of air underneath it, and the S&P equally has a fair bit of air before it finds support on the 50.